talk about tomorrow's games. There are games tomorrow, scheduled matches.
Yes, tomorrow games.
Maybe tomorrow, we'll talk about Dolphins Sharks because our time is up. Our time is running fast. We'll talk about Dolphins and Sharks tomorrow. Games to be played. Well, scheduled matches.
Scheduled matches, you can see on your slide. We have Warriors who's taking on Enyimba, but that Enyimba will be going to that game with only just one. The coach, Coach Amaka Kabo, the Zakari Baraje and Mondige have been suspended. They said indefinitely, but when I put a call across to Bakari, he said it's just for this game. I don't know.
For one game.
One game. So
so it's a case of whether it's one game or
not. So
indefinite.
he puts Imama under intense pressure. Kaduna United against Bayelsa United. Bayelsa is already in Kaduna for the game. Rangers against Nembe. This should have been the first game of the season. The first game of the season. The first game of the season. Then we have Giwa against Kano Pillars. Another game that should have been played in week 1.
All right, so that's it for you. The scheduled matches of the Global Premier League games to be played tomorrow. Let's talk about the Metro League very quickly. And then tell you what's going on in the Lagos Metro League Week 8 fixtures. Bolowoton will be taking on Papa Golden Stars. And then you have Nad Boys against Bridge FC. You have 36 Lions. They'll be taking on Remo Stars. And then Yobo FC will be up against Union Bank. These are the fixtures for you of matches in the Lagos Metro League. Lagos Metro Pro League currently going on. Before we bring Bambo Akone in, guys, before we wrap up this show, let's quickly update you. Drama at Stamford Bridge. Yes. Chelsea fans all over, I'm sure they are on cloud 9 right now because Chelsea have left it late, but they've gotten the second goal. It's Chelsea 2-0 now. Demba Ba with a goal in 87 minutes. So as we speak, it's 90 minutes, and Chelsea are up by 2 goals, exactly what they need to go through to the semi-finals of the UEFA Champions League. So it's Chelsea 2, PSG 0, Chelsea 3-3 on aggregate, Chelsea going through on the away goals. And of course, the game between Dortmund and Real Madrid has ended 2-0, so Real Madrid are through to the semi-finals. So congratulations, I think Chelsea have done this.
Yeah, Chelsea have done it, but then you have to realize that they're in added time, and in added time, anything can happen. Right now, Chelsea have done enough to qualify. I've always said it that Jose Mourinho is a kind of coach that knows how to win matches in a very, very big time. And he said it yesterday, Chelsea are going to win and Chelsea are going to qualify. And you have to realize that he has never lost a quarterfinal fixture. He has always qualified for the semi-finals.
You don't bet against a Mourinho.
Exactly. You do not bet against a Mourinho in this case. And PSG didn't particularly do enough to be able to, extend their lead at the Stamford Bridge. So as it is right now, is a man from Senegal, former Newcastle man, that has saved.
Hardly gets playing time, but he's gone onto the pitch now and he's done the job. And he's done the job.
Exactly.
Right. So it's once again full time now. I think it's done and dusted now. Full time. Chelsea are through to the semi-finals of the UEFA Champions League. Real Madrid also through to the semi-finals of the UEFA Champions League. Don't bet against Jose Mourinho. I think that's the summary. All we can say about the game at this point in time. Let's move now to athletics. What has Bambo Akone got for us tonight? Sit back, enjoy this. Once again, it's a lesson from the Bahamas. This time on great Nigerian rivalries. Someone from the Bahamas talking about this Nigerian spirit in athletics. We'll come back. Bambo will be joining me on Sports Tonight.
Now, did you compete against any Nigerians?
Oh my goodness, yes. One of your great runners, Marianne Yali. I competed against her in college. She was at Texas, and I was at the University of Alabama. And Mary was a fierce competitor. She did not play the radio, and I was a fierce competitor myself. But the funny thing was, we were great friends. We roamed many times on the European circuit, but we competed against each other. When we lined up, we knew we were going to give each other a hard run. But once we crossed the line, our friendship picks right back up. It was a good, friendly competition. Mary was a phenomenal Nigerian athlete, and she represented Nigeria very, very well. And I'm proud to have her, to call her friends, because, at times it's very difficult to have friends when you compete against them. But Mary was definitely one of my true friends. As a matter of fact, she invited me to her wedding in Nigeria. And I was not able to attend. It was one of the time. I think it was during the time when my father had passed away, and so I couldn't attend her wedding. I was really looking forward to coming to Nigeria, and I have yet to make it to Nigeria. But I promised her last year, when I was at the African Championship, that I do still plan to come to Nigeria. Even I was from the Bahamas, and she was from Nigeria. We knew that we were sisters, that we were African sisters, and you know, me being a Caribbean woman, her being an African woman, we kind of know that we all kind of came from, you know, the same place, you know, just a matter of where the boat dropped you. And so we just quickly developed a great friendship. And even though we were rivals, we quickly developed a great friendship. And whenever I would do well, she'd be happy for me. Whenever she would do well, I'd be happy for her. But we always knew that when we lined up against each other, it was going to be all out.
And I seem to recall that you finished fourth in the 400 meters at Atlanta 96, and you were beaten out by another Nigerian for the bronze. Can you tell us about that?
Faliat Ogunkoya. I competed against her in the SEC. She was at Mississippi State, and I was at Alabama. And throughout my whole college career, I beat Faliat. Left, right, and center. You know, all the time I used to beat her, beat her, beat her, beat her. All the college I used to beat her, beat her, beat her, beat her. And then in 1996, it was a different Faliat. I mean, she looked strong. She was sprinting well. She looked more confident, you know, she seemed more fitter, you know, and even in my mind, I still felt that I could beat her, but when we lined up against one another, you know, she beat me fair and square. In one sense, I'm surprised. In another sense, I am not surprised. You see, you have to invest in your young people. At every country, you can't take it for granted that these athletes are going to fall out of the sky. In order for you to have a level of success, you have to invest in development. And I understand from my Nigerian friends, who I'm very close, I have a ton of Nigerian friends. The Nigerians weren't invested in the young people. And so I think they became a little bit complacent based on what some of my friends were saying to me. They kind of got away from what made them great. And when that happens, you know, it takes almost a whole generation to really pull your shoe back up. But there's no doubt in my mind that Nigeria will get back to their greatness. They just have to refocus on their young people and develop their athletic talent. And they'll be back on top, no question about it. In terms of talent, Nigeria definitely has a lot of talent in young men and young women. I've seen it over the years. I think once you regroup and once every single official realizes.
All right, so that's the message for us today from the Bahamas. And Bambo, I mean, relate this to our preparations for the Commonwealth Games. And I think there's a world release starting in the Bahamas in a couple of weeks from now. This message coming from former Olympic champion.
Yes, and Pauline Davis-Thompson, she is a legend in the Bahamas, so it was very refreshing to be there and hear her talk about Nigerian greats of times past.
Mary Nyali particularly.
Mary Nyali particularly, they were great rivals and great friends, and then Falilat Ogunkoya as well. So it's really important, and this is part of the campaign, the Making of Champions campaign we're running, is to just remind the nation, this is our potential in athletics. These are the greats we used to have back in the 90s. Let's get back to those times. And you can see even in the Bahamas, there's a lot of goodwill from the athletics community. Let's see a revival in Nigerian athletics. You know, as we prepare for the athletics season, there's a new competition in the Bahamas next month. It's called the World Relays. The first time they're doing it, it's going to be 4x1, 4x2, 4x4, 4x800, and 4x1500. And given that Nigeria's medals in the Olympics, we've won 8 medals
from the relays
out of 13 Olympic medals. This is a new competition we should be looking at. We should be looking at getting medals in that competition. Now, I've been in touch with the technical director of the AFN, Commodore Nesiama, and he's told me that we're already preparing in earnest. The athletes are already in camp for the World Relays next month. So that's something we should look forward to.
What about the Commonwealth Games? I mean, what would you say about Commonwealth Games, preparations for that, blessing and who is a big prospect for something like the Commonwealth Games?
Yeah, I mean, Commonwealth Games is something we should really be looking at winning some medals. Using that as a springboard for the World Championships next year and for the Rio Olympics in 2016. Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce, who's the double 100-meter Olympic champion from the last 2 Olympics, she just mentioned this week that she expects her stiffest competition in the Commonwealth Games to come from Africa, and particularly to come from Blessing Okagbare. And since the Americans are not going to be at the Commonwealth Games, I'm sure Blessing will be eyeing that as a place where she can dominate in the sprints, the 100, the 200, and the long jump as well, and maybe even lead the 4x1 girls to a gold medal.
As we wrap up this discussion, Bambo, what's the feedback like? I mean, you threw a question out to those who follow you on Facebook and all of that. What was the response like?
Yeah,
as we wrap it up tonight?
The response has been overwhelmingly great, and we'll be running that every week. The video that was seen just now, people can go online.
You'll ask a question around it?
Exactly. People can go online and ask a question, and we'll be giving away prizes around that every week. So people can go online to our Facebook, Making of Champs, at Making of Champs as well is the Twitter handle, and they can get more details about the competition.
Bambo, well, thank you so much for your time.
Thank
we're
you.
looking forward to something special, something good again.
Yes, next
something
week.
exclusive next week.
We'll hear more from Falilat and Mary from their own mouths. Interviews that were done last year with them about how they won their medals. So look forward to that.
So that it can serve as a lesson to those that we are planning to raise to be future champions.
Exactly.
We have to wrap it up on this note. Sports tonight, and once again remind you, Chelsea and Real Madrid have qualified for the semi-finals of the UEFA Champions League from the games played today. Tomorrow, 2 big games as well. Manchester United will be at Bayern Munich in one of the games. And, of course, the other one will see Barcelona visit Atletico Madrid. Big games as well lined up for tomorrow in the UEFA Champions League. That's Sports Tonight this Tuesday. Thank you for watching. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye now.